and I watched him for a while. I thought it was an elephant through the binoculars, and then he started coming to the land, and he was very slow. He had a distended belly, and I sat vigil with him out there, and I called my friend Vijita, Dr. Vijita, the vet, and he said, look, I also have heard that Rambo has been sighted and he's sick. He said, it's too sunny to do anything. He's under stress. Let's wait till 5 o'clock. And 5 o'clock, Vijit and I went right up to Rambo. You can see we walked right up there. He was very sick. You can see the gunshot injury. And Vijita said that it was too complicated to tranquilize him because he was worried that he will fall on the gunshot side. So all that fruit was laden with antibiotics, and we tried to feed him. And thanks to Vijita, Rambo is hale and hearty right now and doing very well. If you search for Rambo, you will find a lot of stuff on Rambo. So I think Rambo has done a lot for tourism. Of course, you will have to put Rambo Udawalave or something, otherwise you will get Sylvester Stallone coming up. More on your search, but if you put a tag, add Udawalave or elephant or something, Rambo will come. This is the second elephant I know, which we can talk a lot about, the famous Walave Raja, a beautiful, majestic tusker. He actually had this unusual situation where he broke a tusk and it started growing back. So that's the first time I knew that elephants grow tusks after breaking. But again, Walave Raja got lost, and until I went and asked the warden, what has happened to Walave Raja? No one cared. He said, oh yes, Mr. Miththapala, he has not come, no, he is missing, no? And that was that. I mean, he is the icon of Udawalave, he is missing. So I thought, let me do something outside the ambient of the wildlife department. I called a few people, I got $10,000 from my friends abroad to do a little bit of research, just to show people that private sector, 2 people can do. My son and I got together and we hyped it up. We wanted to hype it up because to create interest, to find a king. We called it, both of us. We created a website where we showed them what we were doing. We had a little card. Have you seen this elephant? Because this fellow has obviously gone out of the park and he was missing. We postulated that that's the park and how he would have gone out from one of those sides, Hambegamu or the other side. So we went and met the villagers and gave them this thing. That's my son trying out the new dongle that Hans from Dialogue gave me for the project. You know, when you do a project and there's interest, you can get a lot of support. He gave me a mobile hotline. He gave me a dongle. At that time, there were no dongles. We were the first people to use a dongle. That's the dongles Samira is using. So we went around. This is just 2 people who had the interest to do something on their own. And then the wildlife department was giving me trackers. Yes, let's go and look for Raja. We had a blog or a paper, Sunday Times ran an article every Sunday, and actually one day I didn't write it and Sunday Times was inundated with phone calls. What has happened to Raja? Have they found him? So what I'm trying to show here is that just a small initiative, you can generate a lot of interest. We did not find Raja. We had a wrap-up session, and Raja is MIAPD, missing in action, presumed dead now. But of course, Raja has left his mark. He was a very virile young man or an old man. So there are a lot of little Rajas up and coming in the Udawalave National Park now. And that is the new king of Udawalave. Again, beautiful stories, because once the major elephant has died, Sumedha was playing second fiddle to Raja, and now he's the crowned king of Udawalave. A few guys from my project time, I always tried to give names which humanize them. It's very rare to get 2 adult elephants together, Rudy and Randy. This is scallops. If you look carefully, you can see there are two torn ears. So these are interesting things that one can talk. These are poor photographs because these are out of my archives. This is reverse. Very interesting fellow. He'll come right up to your jeep, slowly turn round, and then smash your jeep with the hind leg. You think he's coming to say hello to you, but he's an interesting character. So we named him Reverse. That's Long John. You can see why he's Long John. And that is Lumpy Knee. His front leg had a big lump. So we had all these guys there, and this was, of course, the nasty matriarch, old lady, Arsas. Arsas is not my name. In Sinhalese, Arsas is piles. She had a bad case of piles. And lo and behold, you just give her a wide berth. You don't get anywhere close to her. That photograph is a very rare photograph where she came right up to my jeep and peered at me. But otherwise, the trackers will run a mile because she was a real crotchety old lady. A big herd she handled, but of course, perhaps because of a problem in the posterior. And that is possibly Raja's son. This is the elephant in Singaraja. A few other characters we can talk about. We can create stories. There are only 2 or 3 there. I was lucky to see this guy just opposite a project we were doing there. I came out of the bungalow and out he was there. He has small tushers there. I named him Singabahu. That is our Walave Kota. Or what do we call him? Kota, is it? Anyway. So that's a dwarf elephant. He has not been sighted again. Is anyone interested? Very unusual. Maybe one of a kind in the world. No one is interested. For the last 1 year, we have not seen him, right? So, what's happening? Who is interested? But wildlife is the jurisdiction of the... We can't go and do anything. So what I'm trying to show is that we can do something. That is one tusk John in Min area. So these are interesting characters, and that is Willie for Vilpattu. He's in Nelumvilla most often. Interesting, he has put his trunk, so he virtually lives in the water, and because of the minerals, his trunk is all pink. It has got bleached. So very interesting these characters are. And from individuals, let's go to situations which we can promote. That is in Lahugala, an elephant playing cricket. Square legs, silly, short square leg, guys, right? Square leg. Yeah, he's feeling a square leg. These are the army guys off duty. I took this photograph, I had it on my phone and I showed it to Tony Gregg at Cricket Club. He said, can you give me a printout? I sent it to his hotel and he took it during the commentary time and showed this is what happens in Sri Lanka. Elephants are playing cricket. What a simple thing that happened. It went right round the world. When the Aussies were here, this went round the world. Elephants looking for a mobile reload. Traffic jams. Yes, we have traffic jams in Colombo, but we have traffic jams outside. So these are different ways of presenting something that will appeal to everyone. A stroll down the road. This is at the Allavalla road at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Many people think this is photoshopped. And we have tax collectors, toll collectors who stop the vehicle. And you had to go across to the bakery and buy some buns and give it to the guy and then he'll move off. Unfortunately, he was translocated. That's a grandstand view from Seenuggala Bungalow, my friend Priya Singh. Where else do you get these things? That you can sit on a deck chair and look at a wild elephant couple of meters away. And this was the crowning glory when I was in Canberra, just about to deliver a talk there. I saw this on the Jetwing website and I immediately got the clip and played it. Only thing I didn't say, the elephant. Okay, I said, we have hotels which don't have king-size beds. So unfortunately, he had to be turned away because the hotel could not accommodate him. Put it in a different way. Elephant came, the hotel was full, he had to be turned away. It was on the security camera where the elephant came to Jetwing Yala. But you need people to tell these stories quickly. We were talking about this yesterday when we were out there. You need people to tell stories. I try to do it whenever I can. That was the Twycross Midland Zoo. When they came to study elephants here, and they went, can you imagine, they came to Sri Lanka, studied Udawalawe, and that upper right hand picture is the real thing, and the other two are what they produced in Twycross. So a little bit of Udavalave was recreated, and I was happy to be part of it as the main guy who helped them. Udavalave was totally recreated there. VIP interpretation is important, or any interpretation. I was called to go with this Chinese troupe who are very interested in elephants. For 2 days I spent with them just talking elephants, and this lady happened to be Rupert Murdoch's ex-wife, Wendy Chang. So we have that type of tourists also coming in. They flew in by helicopter to Min area, and I spent 2 days talking elephant with them. This was the Duke and Duchess of Kent. They came to Sri Lanka, and I don't like to go to Pinnavala, but I was forced to go. So I went there and took them around. That was Bob Blake, the ambassador of US in Sri Lanka. So whenever there is necessity for a extra interpretation, I try to help out. TV programs are another way of promoting Sri Lanka, and we have done a lot there with Natural History New Zealand. I was one of the consultants there when we did this program. Same thing with Monkey Kingdom. I feel sorry that the tourist board gave approval, but very little, I don't think, except in the earlier credits, there's nothing to say that it's filmed in Sri Lanka. What a pity. Am I correct? There's very little exposure to say that it's Sri Lanka. Nat Geo did a good series, three series which highlighted Sri Lanka very well. Lastly, to finish up the issues, everything is not tickety-boo. Yes, we can talk about these things. We have the biggest problem at Yala. We have the biggest over-visitation problem there. We have traffic. We'll need traffic wardens very soon. There's a leopard somewhere there on the right-hand side. So you can see the mayhem that happens. And that is Gamunu, who has got all hemmed in. So no wonder he'll poke his head in when you don't allow him space. Believe me, you can ask some of the people who are here. None of the serious wildlife people have had problems with Gamunu. Because when we see Gamunu, we don't get close. We don't take food. We have not had any problems with Gamunu. But other people go and entice Gamunu. Right? You give him a wide berth. We know what his character is like. Give him a wide berth. Off-roading at Min area, all over the show, those elephants are going to drink water, they get disrupted. So where are the sustainable principles of looking at wildlife without disturbing? We are not protecting, we are not looking after the future, we are disturbing their very habitat. And this, of course, is the single cause of Yala's problem. Too many leopards there who will come up and powder your nose for you now. So that is the unfortunate thing, and this is also what happens at Yala. Gamunu putting his head from that side and a foreigner jumping out. Someone must tell him that, of course, the poor guy might have been scared, but that's not on. It's more dangerous than staying in the jeep. Close-ups and selfies. Down Sigiriya shortcut. These guys come and ask for food, so everyone thinks it's a tame elephant. So this tourist had got down and tried to take a selfie, and he got smashed at the back, and that was the end of the tourist. So wrong. Who is at wrong? The elephant. Encouraging. So let me quickly summarize. The primary issues are overvisitation and overemphasis of one sighting of one species. What can the tourism industry do? The last 5 minutes, let me conclude. We need to act now, because this I have shown you is a valuable asset to tourism, and I'm telling you, when I say we, I'm talking about the tourism industry people. There are very few in the audience. We need to protect this. We don't want it to happen like that. But very important, remember that 50% of the problems are from our own people. If you tell a foreigner, if you tell a tourist how to behave there, he normally will listen to you. But unfortunately, some of our Sri Lankan people, when they go there, they feel that that is not a bus station, that is Yala. So we can have a wish list as we were talking a little while ago. Limit visitation, have scheduled tour operators, by the department, strictly enforce the rules, open and all. We can have all these things, but nothing is happening. We sat on a committee to produce a very important document to a very important person. 3 months ago, they wanted the private sector's solution. We gave them a solution, 4-page report, no complications, nothing has happened. So now we have this situation. So what I'm proposing is get out of this thing. What can we do? Don't wait for the wildlife department, don't wait for the government. We know this is important to us, let's do it. We means the tourist industry. So we need to find quick fix solutions within our purview and celebrate small victories. My good friend Paddy, he said he's going to be here. He said this, that tourism must protect and nurture wildlife and environment, not live off it. So let's quickly look at what are the touch points. There are the drivers, there are the tour operators, chauffeur guides, the trackers, the DWC, the hotels and the environment. So there are 3 areas where the tourism can have a control. The tour operators, the chauffeur guides and the hotels. Can't the hotels all have a program that every single person who is in the hotel is briefed before they go into the park? This is the way you must behave. This is why our parks are like this. You don't get down, don't take food. Can't we do that on a one-off basis? We have enough naturalists in those hotels. Can't they do it? Can't the drivers explain this to them? Then we are telling the guests, and if you tell them, 90% of those guys will say, tell the driver, don't behave like this. Can't we shift the focus from Yala to Vilpattu? Vilpattu has the most beautiful, I think most of us now have given up Yala, all the serious wildlife people. We don't go to Yala, we go to Vilpattu, beautiful park. And where will you get a audience with this lady for half an hour without one single jeep in sight? I just sat there and watched her. And she watched me. Then she moved to the side. Where will you get that? Okay, Vilpattu is a little bit of a larger park. Sightings are a little bit more difficult, but you get everything you want to see in Yala, you get in Vilpattu. So can't we do some communication? Not the normal stuff about a map, but what are the issues about the park, the do's and the don'ts in different languages? I designed this. This is still available in some of the parks. A dog-eared version or 2. The Hotels Association sponsored it and we gave it to all the wildlife parks and the hotels to hang. But self-regulation is very important, above all to educate, to create awareness among tour guides. So we are trying to do that and walk the talk. So lastly, apart from the elephant being important for tourism and that tourism can be branded with all these nice stories, it is actually a true national treasure. And the best way to end this talk is to quote the great man from across the Pork Strait: the greatness of a nation and its moral progress can be judged by the way its animals and environment are treated. Thank you very much.